Avengers! Assemble.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books, I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. So John Byrne returns to Marvel Comics after his stint on DC doing a Superman, which he has gone on record and said it was the worst time of his life because editorial just made things difficult for him. So he took over West Coast Avengers. He also took over Avengers as a writer. Now, I am not quite done with Roger Stern's work. He does do Avengers X-Men, the first series, but I'm not ready for that yet because I need to catch up on X-Men, and it will eventually come out. So I said I wasn't quite ready to move forward. A lot of the Avengers stuff in the 90s was just no good. If you're a big fan of that era, I apologize, but it really the art that 90s art that infiltrated comic books during this time when everybody tried to be Jim Lee, and only Jim Lee can be Jim Lee, but everybody else tried. Although Mark Silvestri actually did really well, so did the Kubert brothers, but very few people, and it just did not work. So eventually on Avengers, I will be moving on to Kurt Busiek's and George Perez's run. But I want to just do some of the good stuff from the 80s. I may end up, if this is done and we're still not caught up, I may end up moving backwards and doing the Kang storyline. So I do have a playlist for Avengers. I have covered both the Under Siege storyline, which is considered one of the best Avengers stories of all time. And I have also covered Assault on Olympus. So the two arcs ending Roger Stern's Avengers run are already covered on the playlist. Now I'm gonna do the John Byrne West Coast Avengers run. So here we go. This cover of the Scarlet Witch coming in. Where is my husband? Where is the Vision? And Wonder Man saying he's gone, Wanda, vanished as if he never existed. We got Tigra and we got Hawkeye. John Byrne does do the cover. However, on the inside, he only pencils. I don't believe he will be the inker, but we will see. One of our androids is missing, says here. John Byrne is starting to go into his new version of himself, which I think is the best version, actually, 90s version of John Byrne. I have a playlist where I'm covering Wonder Woman. Feel free to check that out. That's in his mid 90s. It's just beautiful. So one of our androids is missing is the title of our story here, and we have the Scarlet Witch waking up, and we're getting exposition here from Byrne here. And she is married to the Vision is a robot, but hey, it's comic books, folks. Let's not hey, we now live in 2024 where you can marry anything. So hey, so you can see her waking up, a little screen tone here on the nose here. Vision, she says. So John Byrne is the writer penciler. This Mike Macklin is your inker. He was used quite frequently during the late 80s, early 90s, but I don't know whatever became of him. So Tom DeFalco is the editor-in-chief. The Jim Shooter era has ended, essentially. So all right. And Howard Mackie would end up writing Spider-Man during that whole debacle here. So she gets up, Vision, and so hey, why not put on your costume instead of regular clothes? So where can he be? I didn't hear him or feel him getting up, she says. So she checks on her kids. Again, wearing the costume instead of regular clothes. That is, I love comic books. So here are her little twin boys. Um, a lot of this was taken. Some of this was taken from that WandaVision TV show. So I have this entire arc on comic books. So she goes outside, kind of looking around. So here's something here. It's kind of funny that John Byrne didn't like Chris Claremont overwriting, and yet, this motherfucker is. And I'm not complaining per se, saying he writes too much or puts in, but he does the same thing. But I just complain about Chris Claremont, and he just didn't. I don't know. He says that Claremont just wrote too much and didn't have enough action. Well, he does the same freaking thing. So the two of them are two peas in a pod. So she's walking to where she heard that sound, and here she sees Hawkeye doing his I don't know, training, because that's what superheroes do. So they get ready, and so here he is. Never been a huge fan of the Arrow people, Green Arrow, Hawkeye, but you know they're already established. So she's walking and snaps on something here as she steps on something, and of course he's like, "Whoa!" And then he shoots the arrow because he's so because he's got the ears of a hawk apparently. So she aims, but uses her powers and stops the arrow, and it falls. And Hawkeye says, "Geez, Louise, Wanda, that was too close. What the heck are you doing here at this time of the morning?" And she says, "I might ask you the same thing, Clint. Yeah, well, since me and Bobby have been on the outs," Bobby would be Mockingbird, who they were married during this time but are headed for a divorce here. Um, there ain't been too many reasons for lying around all day, he says. So, but you didn't answer my question. Why are you up uh and about so early? Wange? Is that the nickname? As you can see, Hawkeye getting done. "I'm looking for the Vision, Clint. He wasn't in the guest house when I woke up. I'm worried about him," she says. Something's wrong. I can feel it," she continues. "Well, fret no more, kiddo. We didn't spend $11 skillion on the world's most sophisticated communication system for nothing. Yo, Vision," as he presses this little button here. It's nice to see John Byrne drawing. I've always been a fan. "If you're within the sound of my voice, give me a holler." And here, Hank Pym. What this time is not any character. He was, of course, recovering after the Yellow Jacket debacle. He was the original Ant-Man and Giant Man and Goliath, and I don't know. He's been a lot of things here. So he hears that and goes, "Hawkeye, it's Hank Pym. What's up?" "Hey, morning, Doc. Looks like we got us a whole team full of early risers today. Wanda's out here looking for the Vision. Have you seen him?" And Hank says, "Not this morning, no. I was just running a systems check on our mainframe computer. I had a biostatic analysis running overnight, and the results seemed to be off by a few decimal places. So I thought I'd better." And then you can hear the squawk. "Clint, And Hank Pym runs, and he thinks here that was no ordinary communications blowout. Something zapped the transponder at Clint's end. Wanda and Hawkeye are in trouble. And then he goes, blast. I love their alternate for curse words. I truly do. It's not that I'm a prude, but damn it, I love it. So I have never realized how slow these turbo lifts can be when you're in a real hurry. Why haven't the alarms sounded yet? Everyone else is still asleep. Should I alert them manually? He says as he runs toward it. No, better see what's happening. And then out loud he says, no, it can't be. Ultron! And Wanda here goes, Clint, he's not stopping. He's neutralized my hex powers, she says. Tell me about it, babe, says Hawkeye. Might as well be firing toothpicks at that adamantium shell of his. So, nice panel here. I like it. So we change scenes here, and it's just, I like this. The jungle is like none on Earth. So we see Tigra here, I believe. And this apparently is another planet because this is like a deer-ish creature here. And so she's off to and kills it. And look at this, just not showing anything really. It's like a inverted. He draws the stuff and no silhouette-ish. But turns out that it's not real here. It was a dream here of Tigra here, and she's like, "Oh wow, that was too intense, too real. I can feel the bloodlust boiling in my veins, the taste of the flesh of that alien creature." I like this. She is Tigra. She is troubled. So, and that's not the first time. The dreams have been building, growing richer in detail and texture for weeks now. I wonder, is it time I told the others, asked for them, and suddenly you hear this boom. And so you can see her getting up, and here's the wasp here flying by her, and she's like, Wasp, what the heck is that noise? Um, Says here, she's flying from the direction of Hank's bungalow. I thought she was staying in the big house. I don't know what it was, Greer. That would be Tiger's last name. It came from the direction of the training area, and if all that smoke rising over the trees is any indication, I'd say we've got ourselves a mess of trouble, Jan, says Wonder Man. Unless this is somebody's funny idea of a wake-up call. So, Simon, says Wasp, you can fly faster than me. Get up ahead and I don't know what that reconnoiter. All right, just what I was going to do, Wasp. I probably would have said, what the hell is that word? I think it means reconnaissance and oh my god, I cannot. Sorry, people. All right, and so Wonder Man is flying through, and she thinks here, it seems like Miss Van Dyne isn't entirely used to the idea that she's no longer Avengers chairman. She barked at that command like she was Captain America. Oh, brother. And so here you see this explosion here. And Wonder Man goes, Ultron, I was really hoping we'd seen the last of him. Okay, Chrome Dome, I don't know what your game is this time, but it stops here, says Wonder Man. Fool, you have so soon forgotten my power. Here is a reminder, and you can see him just toss Wonder Man. Some kind of magnetic field blast. Don't recall Ultron having anything like that before. Must have upgraded his arsenal, he thinks. And then out loud, he goes, good move, Blinky, but while we're on the subject of fools forgetting things, seems like you must have dropped a few bites along the way. Or have you forgotten they call me Wonder Man? And so here he goes and attacks Ultron. Way to go, Wandy. Oh, I just people and their oh, nicknames. It just we'll show this walking scrap pile. He's messed with the wrong heroes. And Hank Pym says, "Brave sentiments, Clint, but don't be betrayed by overconfidence. Remember, Ultron had us on the ropes before Simon arrived, and there's still a chance of him turning the tables on us." And Wanda thinks here, the Vision missing, now Ultron. And so we are having a flashback here because of, you can tell by the way the panel is they're being drawn here. They're not straight edge, so you see a curvature. So we're moving in time here. So we're getting the origins of the early Marvel universe. And you can see the original Human Torch here. And so here he is. And then when he fought along with Namor, and this is Bucky, and I think this is Toro. Yep, right there. So these are the invaders. So Toro was basically another Human Torch here. As time progressed, his powers went whack, so he went to a desert where he could kind of use up and exhaust basically his powers. And so he went on and fell. Then his body was recovered by the Thinker. I like that. I am the Thinker. I am your master. So, and so the Human Torch once again. So, and then he ended up fighting the other Human Torch from the Fantastic Four here. So, but then the same thing happened. His powers grew out of control here, and we see the Thing saying, "Hey Reed, are we gonna just leave him here? Shouldn't he get a burial or something?" "Dust to dust doesn't apply to him, old friend," says Reed. "He was born in a lab, so this is a more fitting final resting place." And then eventually, then here comes Ultron. Again, this is a flashback here. And so Ultron gets him. And so we're back in the present here. And that was Ultron 5, meaning the fifth incarnation of Ultron. He's an AI, so he keeps, as he builds a new body, it becomes Ultron whatever. But here Hawkeye's like, "I can't get a clear shot with the Wasp so close." "Jan, fall back. You can't hurt him," says Hank. "Maybe not, but my Wasp things can keep him off guard." And you can see the Wasp using her little stingers. And here you see Wonder Man punching him. And Hawkeye's like, "Hank, it's working." Ultron's staggered. "It's working all right, Hawkeye. It's working too well. And that gives me an idea. Wonder Man, over here." So, looks like Pym's got a idea here. "Can it wait, Doc? I'm kind of busy at the moment here." And, oh my gosh, I almost said Ant-Man. Hank Pym says, "I can see that, Simon, but I've got to find a way to end this fight fast." "Oh yeah? And what might that be?" "This." And he uses, you can see here the Pym particles, and he shrinks Wonder Man, and Wonder Man's like, "Why?" And he says, "The answer will be immediately obvious in about 12 seconds, Simon. Right after you fly straight down Ultron's throat." So at first I thought that Hank was becoming gigantic when I first had seen this. So, and Wonder Man says, "What? But I could get trapped inside his indestructible casing." "No, you won't, Wonder Man. Now, please, just do it." "Well, okay, but if I end up as part of some printed circuit, I'm gonna be real peeved. So, and he goes down Ultron's throat, and you can see here, this looks kind of cool, kind of built like a small city of some kind. And Wonder Man's like, "What gives? I penetrated the furnace in his mouth without even feeling it. I mean, I know my skin is tough, but hold it. Something's starting to happen. Hanks, 12 seconds must be up. I'm growing." And so, happening fast, which is probably just what Hank had in mind here. So, you can see here he breaks. Now, if he was made out of adamantium, the strongest metal known, as Chris Claremont says all the time, he should not have been able to do that. Perfect, Simon. Just perfect. As soon as I noticed the amount of damage your blows were inflicting, I realized this couldn't be the real Ultron. And Wonder Man says, "Now I get it. His adamantium shell would never have dented. But why didn't we notice that right off?" Well, call it preconditioning. We were so busy fighting what appeared to be a familiar foe, we all saw what we expected to see. After all, this robot looked, sounded, and acted like the genuine article. And Wasp says, "But we were just caught up in, well, the blaze of battle. Boy, am I glad I'm only half an inch long, so you can't see how red my face is." And then a Scarlet Witch says, "But why would anyone send a false Ultron against us?" And Hank Pym says, "To distract us would seem the most obvious, Wanda. To keep us here while something else going on elsewhere. So, if you'll forgive the rather poor humor, Avengers disassemble. Search the compound." So we continue here, and the Scarlet Witch is like, "Vision, can this have something to do with his being gone?" Now, I am going to cover this part right here because we have not covered these issues. So I'm just going to um, kind of continue here. After what he learned from Immortus, "As Master of Time, I can show you your past, Vision." And so we pick up where Ultron had grabbed or went to go grab him, or the original Human Torch. I'm sorry. So Ultron has brought the body back to I think he's the original is the original guy here, and he recognizes, of course. And Ultron says, "He's mine now, Horton. And once you assist me in bringing him to life, he will be mine for eternity." And so you can see him removing the face. Um, and he asks, "Why do you want a new face for him, Ultron?" "Because he must have a completely new life, divorced entirely from his days as a hero." So we're gonna basically get the beginnings of the origin of the Vision. I have not covered that at this time. I do hope to eventually get to it. I don't have those issues. I do have the collections. I have a lot of these trades from these older stories, but I do hope to eventually get to it. And you can see that Ultron starts to program him here. So the Vision is the original, is the body of the Human Torch. And he uses the brain patterns of Wonder Man, which is Simon Williams here. So, and here you can see Ultron. "Welcome to the world of the living. You who will know but a half life. I'm Ultron 5, but you shall call me Master." And he's like, "Yes, Master." And so he goes to fight the Avengers. This is, of course, way back in the 60s, late 60s actually. I think Roy Thomas and John Buscema had done those stories here. And Vision was his how the Wasp gave him that name, unearthly inhuman Vision. Eventually, he was able to be freed from Ultron. Here you can see Thor, Captain America, Hawkeye, Black Panther, Hank Pym as Giant Man, and of course, here's the Wasp. And he joins the Avengers. And then she met him about a month later. Future husband, a fucking android. See, I can curse too. I just prefer my comics not to. So, not that they can't curse, but I do miss the old days of Blast. So, and so the Vision continues looking here. So many years have gone by. All that happened, and yet it seems like only yesterday. And now the Vision is gone, and I know something is terribly wrong. He could never have left me without. And suddenly you see here, Wanda, Hank, what is it? You look. It's the Vision, Wanda. You found him? Where is he? Is he all right? I think I think it would be better if I told you face to face, Wanda. We're in the main assembly chamber. And so she comes, and she demands know where he is, and Hank says he's gone. What do you mean he's gone? I know he's gone. I thought you were going to tell me. Hold on, you don't understand, says Hawkeye as he tries to hold her back here. Tell her, Hank. When I realized the false Ultron was probably a diversionary tactic, I remembered the glitch I detected in my biostatic program this morning. I came back here and finished the systems check. What I found was what I feared. Someone has introduced a highly sophisticated computer virus into our system. My program was inaccurate because the virus interrupted it to check for data. And Scarlet Witch is like, data? What data? The Vision, Wanda. The virus has erased all trace of the Vision from our files. Everything we know about him, every report he filed, all gone, and there's more. I checked with our East Coast compatriots. The same thing is true at their end. The virus introduced here was apparently been transmitted into every computer we link with, which includes S.H.I.E.L.D., the Pentagon, the Fantastic Four. All those systems, all trace of the Vision has been obliterated. But that's mad, insane. Who could do such a thing? That's the worst part, ponders Hank. For this to have happened means somebody got in through our defensive network. Somebody got past all our alarms, all our codes, everything. And to do that, they'd have to be one of us. One of the Avengers has turned traitor, says Hawkeye. But who? Is that really so hard to guess, Hawk? Oh no. What's the matter, lover? Aren't you pleased to see your little wifey again? And so we see here Mockingbird in this big splash page. So, next issue, why, who, where, don't miss Visionquest in 30. So, pretty cool. He had about a year and a half, maybe not a year, about a year run on the title. So, West Coast Avengers number 42, written and penciled by John Byrne. Oh, beautiful. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.